All right. Good Sunday evening, and I want to thank you for joining me in another sometimes controversial yet always blood pumping episode of Dr. BB in the Middle. And tonight we are going to be getting in the middle of, the stuff that's been happening this week. So I want to let you know that tonight's episode is brought to you by the word of the week, Neanderthal. The controversy is the discrimination against them, Neanderthals. So if you've not heard anything about this, then, well, you must have had your head under a rock this week because it's been trending. And I even made my own little TikTok episode. And I think that I have that posted in there somewhere for you so that you can get to that later on. But I will catch you up to speed in case you haven't heard. So this week, when some red state governors decided to lift COVID restrictions, and they were going to open up the states, they were going to lift all restrictions to include mask wearing mandates. So President Biden, in his talk, said that their actions were Neanderthal thinking. Well, many Republicans took umbrage to this, stating that they had Neanderthal ancestry and that President Biden, should be more sensitive. So, I'm a diversity and inclusion trainer, so I will put together a sensitivity training just for President Biden, okay? But the truth is the Neanderthals, who are believed to have had pale skin and eyes and reddish hair, they were wiped out pretty early on. In fact, as soon as modern humans came on the scene. Because, well, they didn't have the sufficient prefrontal brain matter necessary for, critical thinking and survival. So, yeah, the Neanderthal thinking that says, now we are almost there in regard to getting this damn pandemic under control. Let's just do away with all safeguards. We don't have to wear masks. We can huddle up in, the bars. We can go to church and breathe and spit on each other. And so it's kind of funny that this is happening, especially in the states where the COVID death and positivity rates they're significantly higher than others. And they also have the highest population of Black and brown people, Texas, for example. So is it a coinky dinky that all those people in Idaho holding a mask burning bonfire were white? Oh, well, one day children will read about how there used to be people with white skin on Earth. And the science teacher will say, "You're right, Bobby, but they were wiped out by this horrible plague called Trumpism." All right, now it's noteworthy here to add that the ex-president, he got his vaccine covertly. He didn't go on a stage, to make a statement and say, "I'm doing this live so that I can model for you that it's safe and that I support it." Nope. He and his wife, behind closed doors, didn't want anybody to know it. But you know how the media is. They found out. Plus, you just really can't keep stuff like that secret when it comes to the president. All right. So, so those of you out there who say that, Trump says it's not real, apparently he thinks that it's pretty real. So, and these government officials, the ones that are saying, "Oh, we're just going to open everything up." Well, those bastards are getting their vaccines. They're not in any danger. They will not suffer. The idiots burning their mask over the trash can will. So now let's talk about Dr. Seuss. Let me be the first to assure you, no one is sending your green eggs and ham back to the kitchen. The Grinch can still ruin your Christmas, and the Lorax is still intact. The truth is, despite what Fox News and the other conservative, and I've got air quotes going on here, media, I have to say, the Seuss Foundation, they decided that some of the early works of Dr. Seuss were a little on the racist side. So, no, President Biden did not cancel Dr. Seuss. He's not a part of the cancel culture. He did not tell the Seuss Foundation how to think or what they should do. They just used their prefrontal brain matter for themselves. Whew, that's a whole lot, isn't it? Well, I'm not done, because this week lots of stuff has happened, and we've got lots more coming next week. But this week, like how the Republicans all lied and said the reason they would not agree to the $1.9 trillion COVID rescue bill was because the Dems had sneaked in that $15 minimum wage increase. Just sneaked it in. Those sneaky Democrats. They were actually so damn sneaky that Joe Biden was elected on the promise of a $15 minimum wage. Those sneaky bastards. Not only that, but that damn sneaky Nancy Pelosi held a news conference and announced that this was an important part of the rescue bill. So because the Republicans said they would not vote in favor of the bill if the $15 was a part of the bill, the Dems decided they were not going to let that $15 die on that hill, that it would live to fight another day. So the Dems took it out. Then guess what? Not one of those Republican mofos voted for the rescue bill, with the argument being that it was a wasteful spending. Wasteful spending? But wait a minute, weren't they all on board for the millionaire tax cut bill? Yes. Yes, they were. Now, before you decide you need to point out some facts to me, yes, I am painfully aware that 6 Dems voted right along with the Republicans against the COVID relief bill. Note, not one of them is of color. Now, I'll be honest with you, I like Senator Coons. I do. But I don't like him right now. So I'm wondering, I'm really wondering, how are these Republicans and some of those Dems going to package the fact that they voted against the COVID relief when they are out campaigning for re-election? Now, as far as the Republicans go, I have to ask this. Will they even have to? Because it's now becoming blatantly obvious that they can do anything they want as long as they tell poor white people that they are better than black and brown people. You know, I talked about that last week, but hey. So this was an important week, and we're one step closer to the reinstatement of the voting rights bill and the George Floyd police reform bill. So let me debunk a few things here as well. The voting rights bill does not allow non-citizens and dead people to vote. Period. Enough said. Let's move on. The George Floyd police reform bill is not about defunding the police. Not at all. Quite the contrary. The money will be invested into improved recruitment and vetting procedures. I was in the military. I was in military psych, okay? I know that a lot of guys, and it's mostly males, join the military or go into police work because they get to carry a gun. A lot of people who are on the police force didn't get into the military. Yeah, because the military does psych screenings. And if they couldn't get into the military, then they try to join the police force. And because there's not as much vetting, they usually get on. So that can't happen anymore. It just can't. Oh, and by the way, if they can't get on the police force, they become a security guard. Okay? We all know that. That's a cliche. It's a stereotype, but where there's smoke, you know what they say. All right. So We're going to have some diversity training and proper restraining procedures training. The banning of chokeholds is the most important part of the bill, and the thing that Republicans and police unions are whining about. They remind me of the kids who are told they cannot use calculators on their math test. So, if police officers lack the communication skills and training to do their jobs without murdering people, they need to not be cops. Period. Personally, I believe that empathy building trainings need to happen because too many people of color are brutalized and die each year at the hands of peace officers. Again, with the sarcastic air quotes. And this has to stop. So that brings me to my final topic. The Derek Chauvin trial jury selection begins tomorrow. The murder of George Floyd took place right in front of our eyes. If Chauvin is not convicted, this will be the pain that will reverberate across this nation and indeed the world. The world took note of this, right? We have already seen one white man commit a crime in broad daylight on live television and be acquitted by his peers this year. This cannot happen in this case. First of all, there had better be some real peers for Mr. Floyd in that jury box. In fact, he deserves an all-black jury, just like Trump, who had an all-white Senate vote in favor of his acquittal. Was that steam I saw coming out of your ears? All right, so before I get to my questions tonight, and I'll remind you in just a moment, I want you to keep wearing your mask no matter what those dumbasses say. I know that the governor of Georgia, I believe Mississippi, and Texas started it all. You know, if you really are a true rebel, like some of you Confederate flag toting bastards out there are, well, then rebel and save some lives. All right. So get your vaccine when it gets your turn, but don't stop taking precautions. Wearing a mask and social distancing will not kill us, but going maskless and crowding together indoors, it can. All righty. So tonight I have with me in the studio Saturday Night Smoke. All right. I won't ask you what kind of smoke rather. I've got so Saturday night, you say 2 years is a long way and nobody will remember this. Can you tell me what this is that you're referring to? What will they not remember? And then your second question was, how can you train people to be empathetic? I'll answer that while you post your, okay. Post your question. I see that you've already posted your answer to the question rather. All right, so I'll go ahead and go with that. So the next election, I'm assuming that you are saying the next round of elections for Congress. Senate seats are 6 years, and we will have a few come up for term this next election. But you're right, people do have a short memory. And so we have to make sure that they don't forget. We do have a habit in this country of forgetting about things as soon as things get better. Like, when people thought when Obama was elected president that meant racism was over with. No, that is not what that meant. Okay. People do forget about these things. People forget about all the stuff that has happened. And the thing of it is that we have the news media, and it's the conservative news media who is lying, and they keep repeating those same lies, and they will say things like, that's not what he meant, that's not what happened. And people who really need to believe that do believe it. you know. So we have to make sure that people do not forget this stuff. Already, even Mitch McConnell has forgotten that he probably shat his pants on January 6th. Okay. But they need to remember, and we need to keep it going. And I'm hoping to see that some people are brought to justice on that front. So, all right, Saturday night, man, you make another good point. You absolutely cannot train people to be empathetic, but you can sure as hell screen to make sure that we don't have sociopaths who are joining our police force. And nobody can tell me that Derek Chauvin is not a sociopath. The look on his face, his hands in his pockets while a man died beneath his knee. I can't even. The words just aren't even here to express how I feel about that. And I can't even talk about it seriously without even crying. So we cannot hire people into our police force who look at other human beings and see someone who is less than human. I know for a fact that these tactics are used in the military. I know that. But they should not be used in our police force, because police are here to protect and to serve. The word protect comes first. It doesn't say protect some people. It doesn't say protect white people. It says protect, period. We need to screen them for bias, and they need bias training. And again, if we can't train them to be empathetic, then we got to try to train them to be neutral. And you really can't do that either. So it's just going to mean screening measures are going to have to take place to be sure that we don't have this shit happening anymore. I mean, I was a school teacher for 17 years. And school teachers are censored like nobody else. Teachers get fired for posting a photo of themselves on vacation with a mug of beer, and people say that is scandalous, but yet we've got these senators, these congressmen who are elected to office, who belong to fucking cults. Are you kidding me? How does this even happen? And I said this a few shows back, is that women have a hard time getting a congressional seat in the first damn place. 2018 was definitely a response to Trump. And that response just needs to keep on happening. But a woman who has been divorced, who's had an abortion, who's given a kid up for adoption, who has any type of past at all other than being a pearl-wearing saint, will have a hard time getting a congressional seat. But yet this Marjorie Taylor Greene bitch, she got a seat, and she's a freaking cult member. And harasses, then at the time, minors, walking around behind them, heckling them. I mean, I can't even believe it. So one of the things that I have to say to my Democrat friends out there, I just have to say this, is that we've got to stop striving so hard for perfection. We don't have to be perfect anymore. Okay? I say that if you've got dirty laundry, hang it up for everybody to see. Inoculate these bastards so that whenever they go digging, It's already there. I don't think that any woman should ever have to be ashamed for making a decision. Okay? Making a I have to address my good buddy Rick. Rick, are you a proud boy by any chance? Okay. Dude, do you even know your history? I do not think that Joseph Stalin is exactly known for standing up for the rights of people. Okay? So, and then I've got Dany. I'm just going to say, yeah, Rick, you are. I mean, it was. So a joke, I mean. So, Dany, what is this pod about? Well, let me see. Go back up there to the earlier parts of, you can see where it says about Neanderthals, mask burning, COVID rescue bill, police reform, and why this white man cannot be allowed to get away with murder. All right. So tonight we're just getting in the middle of it, and that's what I do. In fact, that is what I did for 17 years of teaching. I was in the principal's office probably once a week for telling the truth to my students, telling them things like, you have rights. You don't need to, be an ISS, that's in school suspension, every week just because of the color of your skin. Rick, I am pretty sure that your brain could use a little washing, but the brain is made of soft tissue. And I fear that any attempt at, adding anything to it might just do you in. Okay? All right. So if you feel anything squishy coming out of your ears in a little while, you might want to head to the nearest ER. Okay? All right. So let me see. So this week, yes, there will be protest for the anticipation that Derek Chauvin will not be convicted of his crime. And so I just have to ask you, all right? I just have to ask you if you will have a little compassion for people, have a little bit of that empathy that I am. You're absolutely right, Rick. It does not fit the crime because it was first degree murder. It wasn't second degree and it was not manslaughter. So there you go. It's not first degree murder. You use the Google machine, Rick. Okay. That is one of the reasons for the protest, because that monster is getting off light. And I'm telling you that there had better be an equal number of jurors, both white and of color. And if it's going to be fair and they're really going to be a jury of his peers, they need to all be black. Okay? The jury system was not created for people of color. All right? It just was not. I am not letting my emotions override my logic. And I understand perfectly well how justice works, but I have a better understanding, my friend, of how it has not been working for people of color. Why don't you enlighten me, Rick, as to how it should work? Okay? Go ahead. School me on that. I did not receive the notice that you were trying to call, Rick. So a little pop-up comes up and I can, in the last show, well, it must have been after I already exited the program, but I'm here now. I did not acknowledge that you tried to call. See, Rick, you are just lying. Lying, Rick. Call me now. Okay, we got a few minutes. Okay. All right. No, I acknowledged it that you had been in the chat. Okay. You didn't call. So I'm not going to argue with you. So I'm laughing at you, Rick, not with you. Okay. All right. So if that is all we have for tonight, then I will bid you adieu. And I will join you again next week at 6 p.m. on Sunday evening. I will post this in the middle of the week, and you can find me on Apple. You can, yes, Dany, thank you. The Central Park 5 is a good example of injustice towards Black people. And we could go on, and on, and on. Okay. All right. So Rick, you are a nice guy, NOCE, gotcha. And you don't give people shit for no reason. All right. So you don't think that George Floyd is a good example, Rick, of injustice towards Black people? You know, what happened to the Central Park 5 was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. But up until here recently, I believe they were all alive. Okay. And George Floyd did not resist. Okay. It was live, people. Live. Okay. It was live. He did not resist. And even if he did, it did not warrant, sure, Dany, it did not warrant his death. All right. Okay, we're going to discuss this. All right. Hey, Dany, good evening. This is Dr. BB. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about George Floyd.
All right.
I mean, George Floyd. I watched the whole video on police activity on YouTube, and at first he resisted. He was scared of his life, and they were telling them that he was scared of his life. They just to let him go, and yeah, if he could have cooperated in the beginning, it would have gone well.
Okay, so resisting arrest and an initial, uh, you know, that's just kind of like an involuntary flex when somebody grabs you. I mean, I've resisted police officers before. Okay, kind of takes them by surprise because I'm a little person, but and a police officer did once threaten to put me down on the ground. I was a school teacher on school property, and I said, "Go for it." Okay, but Derek Chauvin was not a large man. He's not a large man. Okay, and had George Floyd wanted to hurt him, he could have hurt him. And if he had resisted, those other police officers who were standing by, they wouldn't have done anything. But it did not, even if he had fought, it didn't warrant his death. It just didn't.
Yeah, I agree with you, but me too. I'm a black person, So at first, man, as I saw the news, George Floyd killed, and I saw the video. I mean, what the police officer did, he putting his knees on the neck of George Floyd. It's not good, but when I saw the video, because there's a full video, like go check on YouTube channel called
Yeah,
Police
I've
Activity.
seen it. I've seen it, Dany.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
if George Floyd could have cooperated, man, it would have turned out differently. They could just have arrested him, and everything would just have finished
well,
just like that.
there's more evidence based upon, past cases, Dany,
Yeah,
that he
yeah,
wouldn't have, that he would not have survived it. Because there have been many times when Black people have put their hands up, when they have said, "Okay, okay, okay, I'm doing what you're telling me to do," and they're still kicked and beaten. If
back.
you've ever been bitten by a dog, when you see a dog, or if you've seen someone
Yeah,
else bitten by a dog,
yeah,
attacked by a dog, and you see a dog, you're going to have a reaction. All right.
yeah,
So, and Rick
yeah.
is
I
still
mean,
going.
yeah, but George Floyd, man, they were putting him in the car.
Okay, let me
And
address Rick. Rick,
yeah,
darling, I was a hospital corpsman in the military, and I had to deal with a lot of psychotic people. And some of them were Marines, and they were a whole hell of a lot bigger than me. Okay? And so, yeah, I do have experience. And you know what? I never had to hurt anybody. Okay? All right. So you just keep on addressing my ignorant things that I'm saying. So, Dany, I do apologize. I just had to, you know,
yeah, I
to address
understand.
his attempts to enlighten me. But I appreciate you calling in, and I appreciate you trying to have the ability to give some credence to what that police officer was doing. I mean, we don't want to think that people are bad. We don't want to think that um, police officers are bad. And I know that not all police officers are bad. I recognize
Yeah,
that. Okay.
yeah,
But sometimes when your life is on the line, you don't have
yeah,
time to figure out, okay, is this a good one or is this a bad
yeah,
one? You
yeah,
know, and it's not comfortable. It's just not comfortable at all to be driving while Black, to be shopping while Black, to be sleeping in your own bed. Just, ask Breonna Taylor. Oh, wait, you can't because they killed her in her own home. So,
yeah, yeah,
and so I guess that, um, you know, there's just too much evidence out there to suggest that there's just something that is of the mindset of many people who join the police force. Um, and I said this earlier, and I don't know if you were on or not, but when I was in military psych, a lot of the people that, got the,
yeah,
they got kicked out for, being unbalanced. And so a lot of those people who can't, get through boot camp, when they get out, they try to join the military. That's usually the next thing that they do. And then
exactly.
if they can't get into the military, or they get kicked out of the military, then they join one of these militia groups, like those fools that we saw on January 6th. Okay.
Yeah,
So that's just what happens. I mean, there's a whole profile on people like this. And Rick wants me to shut up so bad that he just won't leave the studio. I'm not holding you hostage, Rick. You can go now. You have my permission. So we just need to screen people a lot better who join the police force. We need to
Yeah.
screen them for their bias. We need to train them how to really and truly interact with the public, the whole public, not just the ones that
Yeah.
that they like. Okay.
Yeah. But there is another thing that I have noticed among the black the black people in America. I mean, when when they get arrested, I mean
Mm-hmm.
they they cause a lot of trouble. They don't cooperate. I mean, even the police officers they get scared
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I see a lot of videos on YouTube just showing how black people react toward the police officers, man.
Rick, I
Yeah,
posted my sources there, and so you go ahead and report me for false information. And while you're at it, there's
yeah,
somebody who's reading their fictional novel on their podcast. You need to report them too. All right? All right. Sorry, Dany.
no, no problem. This guy is hilarious.
Yeah, he thinks he is. So I really shouldn't. I really shouldn't laugh at him because you know, I should have more empathy toward him. I really should. It's just really difficult to do. Um, but I will try because it's kind of my job to be empathetic towards people. So so um
Yeah,
so Rick, you'll have to watch my TikTok. I've got it
you're on
linked over
TikTok.
there. Yeah, I just posted my first one, so it was just kind of a satire,
It's
is what I do.
it's also called Dr. BB.
Yes, Dr. BB in the middle. Yep, sure is. So, Rick, is that question towards me? Have I ever worked outside of the public sector? Do you mean in the private sector? What are you talking about? I work for myself now, Rick. This is the first time I have not worked in service to either to some governmental agency. I was in the military and then I became a teacher, and now I am a therapist. I work for a private practice. I'm also a college professor. I work for a private college, and then I do diversity training. Yeah, so bias confirmed. Okay. So what? Because oh wait, was it the PhD? Ah, okay, yeah. Damn, you've got me tagged. All right. Yeah. So I see you're a communist. Clearly you did not pay attention in social studies. You crazy fucker. All right. So Lordy. Love white people. Yeah. Woo! All right. So, but I appreciate you, Dany. And so I'm going to be getting out of here in just a little bit. And oh, I don't know, Rick. You've got a white dog there in your picture, so I don't know if that symbolizes anything or not. Yes. Oh my God, you picked up my Russian accent. Jesus, and I thought that I was doing so well to cover it up. I understand that it's a cartoon character. It is very appropriate, Rick. Really. Okay. All
Yeah,
right. So,
bro.
yeah. So,
Hey, Dr. Beak. Can you
yeah.
tell me what topics you were discussing before I got here?
Okay.
You were
So I
discussing
was, yeah, I was just discussing the humor over the Republicans who were offended by President Biden calling the governor of Texas, saying that he was using Neanderthal thinking and lifting the COVID restrictions, because
yeah,
Texas has been hit hard with the storm and the loss of power and resources, and a lot of people died due to the cold and being without, and plus a lot of people got COVID from being inside, with people when they ordinarily would not have been. And so it's just kind of stupid. So I honestly think that President Biden was being nice. He actually did a disservice to Neanderthals, to be honest with you. But so I talked about that. And then I went on to talk about the whole Dr. Seuss controversy, where they're saying that the liberals are trying to cancel Dr. Seuss, and that is not the truth. The Seuss Foundation, they have decided to take some of his books off the shelf because they were a little racist, just like some of the earlier Warner Brothers and the Disney cartoons were incredibly racist. And so, they're making the right decision in that. And so, of course, Rick apparently is not an auditory learner. I never said that Dr. Seuss was a racist. I said some of his work they felt was a little racist. And I am sorry, Rick, but of course you would not think. And I'm talking about to Rick the dog here, since I've got two Ricks in the studio. I think I've got Rick the cowboy and Rick the dog. So, so Rick the dog, no, I can assure you I am not an idiot. Obviously, you're still here. So, but I talked about that. I talked about the Republicans not voting for the relief bill, even though they claimed that the $15 minimum wage, which I addressed last week, if that it had been in there, that they, that they would not vote for it, but then they ended up not voting for it at all because it will actually help people, and that they're just not in the business of helping people. But yet they were all gung-ho for the tax cut that that helped the rich. So, right. So, hope that answered all of those questions. Again, I do thank you for joining this evening and for having the courage to call in. Unlike Rick and his other brother, Rick. So that's all I have for you this afternoon. And oh my God, Rick is still at it. So you asked if I ever had a real job. Fucker, if you don't think that serving in the military is a real job, then you're just crazy. All right. If you don't think that teaching high school to poor kids is a real job, then I invite you to do both of those things. All right. I just invite you to do both of those things. I'd like to know what your job is. Do I have a food stamp job? No. I have never been on food stamps. I'll be honest with you. I've never had a need to be on food stamps. Are you saying that because I'm a woman of color? You just assume that I'm on food stamps? Are you assuming that I got about 17 baby daddies too? So come on, come at me, Rick. Come on, I got you. Come on. The indignation. That was my nervous laugh, by the way, because I am so scared sitting here in the comfort of my home, the comfort of my home on the other side of my Mac, and yeah, I'm terrified, Rick. I'm shaking in my boots. Wait, I ain't even wearing shoes. That's how not afraid I am, because I ain't even wearing shoes because I don't have to run anywhere. Yes, it's an apple. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, Rick, I got you pegged. All right. So, well, folks,
Oh my
that
God.
is all.
Rick.
Rick, where's your husband? You know, your husband
Uh,
really needs to get
my
you
man
in
is stripping.
hand. He
Bro, you gotta
really
stop,
needs
bro.
to get you in hand. You know, you know, if you've got a wife, you know, Rick,
Yeah.
I got 3 dogs, okay? They're huge ass dogs. All right? And I do have 3 cats. I rescued them all from the shelter. All right? I think somebody needs to rescue you. So,
Yeah.
but it ain't me.
He need, he need he need to be baptized too.
You think so?
He need Jesus.
Mm,
He need Jesus
yeah.
in his life.
Well, see, that's
Bro,
probably
Rick,
what's
you're
wrong with him,
tripping.
Dany. You know, that's probably what's wrong with him. Okay. All right. So you just had to put your dog down, Prophet. I am really sad to hear that. Bye, Dany. Thanks for calling. I'm really sorry to hear that. I've had to do that a couple of times in my life, and it's just not a good thing. Only 3. Wow. Okay. So,
Hey, Rick, you're going way too far, bro. You're going way too
oh
far.
my. Yeah, I'm really sorry to
You gotta
hear that,
cool down.
Prophet. So, Rick, no, I don't support killing babies, and I don't believe in Jesus. I know Jesus, you know, I've taught a few Jesuses in my time, but no, I don't know Jesus. I don't need Jesus. I was, you know, mocking you, I guess. Actually, I was piggybacking on what Dany said. So, I don't believe in killing babies. So, do I take it then
Who?
that you are against all those babies in cages at the border? There is hope for you yet. So, you know what? I am not for abortion. I'm not like holding a sign up saying, "Come kill your babies here." No, that's not what I do. Um, I am for a woman's right to choose. Okay. All right. So
Rick.
just so that I set you straight on that, Rick, man, you are something. Bless you. As they say
Uh,
in the South, bless your heart. All right.
this dude,
So
this dude
we-
is reminding me of Luca Magnotta. Do you know? Do you know the guy, Luca
no,
Magnotta?
no,
Uh, I saw him. I saw him in a TV show, in a Netflix TV show called
right.
"Don't Fuck with Cats."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll have to look it
he was
up.
basically like a serial killer, bro. And he
Mm,
was on the internet just harassing people, just asking them stupid questions like that,
yeah, yeah.
And
Rick's got
he ended up
some
like
troubles.
doing some
So
nasty stuff.
Rick, no,
Yeah,
I'm
Rick, you
not
need
for
some.
murder, and I'm not for full term abortions. I'm, you know, for a woman making the best choice for her at the earliest possible time in her pregnancy. And if you think that that is a weak answer, that might be because you are a poor excuse for a human being. Okay? All right. So have you ever seen what the tissue looks like at 1 month? Most women don't even know that they're pregnant when they are 1 month, which is 4 weeks, you know, in case you don't know that. All right. So I did answer you. I'm not dodging anything. You're posting like crazy. I don't know if you know this or not, but this scrolls up, and you know I've invited you to call in, and we've only got 4 minutes left. So I'm not dodging anything. Okay, not dodging anything. Would you prefer to have been aborted? Let me see. Uh, no, because I like where I am. I kind of like being alive, but nobody asked me. Okay. I just said no, ass wipe. Okay. All right. This is the thing. If my mother, by the way, who was a poor woman of color, married to a very abusive man, had decided to abort me, number one, I would not know about it. And besides that, it would have been dangerous for her because it was illegal. And this is the thing. Is that her life would have been better. Maybe she would not have stayed with my father so long. And what does color have to do with it? Oh, Rick, bless you if you have to ask such a question. It's so cringy that you feel the need to keep announcing that. What? Announcing what? Announcing what? Okay. All right, folks. You're embarrassing, AMBARRASSING, to listen to when you say a tiff like Tabat. All right, Rick, I feel schooled. Thank you. I know how to spell now. Yay. All right, folks, this is Dr. BB, and I am out of here.